Hi. Since my last video, there has been a lot of drama in the market. Many momentum stocks tanked, value stocks began to rise. The undecided US elections raised emotions. Corona was making a small comeback, and then Pfizer claimed it has a vaccine. And on top, GDP figures came in gangbusters plus 31%. Lots of movement, lots of drama, fireworks, some hysteria. Maybe the time has come to go back and see how my mentions have done in the meantime. Let me remind you, I didn't recommend them. I only mentioned them as material for your own sleuthing. Still, it should be interesting to see how they have done, and also for me as a point of accountability. So, how have these mentions done? Let's start with the least recent, 6 months ago, and work our way up to the most recent. Then finally zero in at the end on 3 conclusions to help your sleuthing effort. There are 10 in all. Shouldn't take long. First, Vedanta, VEDL, was mentioned on June 9 as a deep value Indian stock with interesting resources whose chairman was trying to take private sneakily on the cheap. Shareholders said not so fast, and the company whose manager now has an incentive to show how good it is reported weak numbers. But the stock still rose 10%. Do investors know something? Up to you to sort it out. Second, Cominar, a Canadian real estate investment trust, REIT, symbol as CUF.UN in Toronto, was mentioned on June 16. The company owns about a third of Quebec's real estate assets. As the stock tanked, there was a massive insiders buying pre-corona. Then the company reported weak results post-corona and the stock fell a bit more. Insiders, however, included family members of one of Canada's most talented operators and takeover artists, bought even more stock. The board then said it's taking steps to unearth value. The stock is up 6% since. What will it do next? Yep, up to you to do some digging of your own. Third, Metro Inc., MRU symbol in Toronto, a prominent Canadian food retailer, was mentioned in July 16 when I gave an example of how chatting with workers can give you insight into what goes inside a company. The stock is up about 7% since. Fourth, Embraer, ERJ, the Brazilian airplane company, whose deal with Boeing fell through. It was mentioned August 15. It's about flat since. Fifth, Idonor, EDN symbol, the Argentinian electric utility, was mentioned August 25. The stock traded at a PE of 1. That's 1, not a mistake. One-time earnings, and EV of EBITDA to EBITDA of 0.5. Yes, it's a wonder the stock is up only 13% since. Sixth stock, Alliance Data System, ADS. The company that sells loyalty program and branding services, sort of dedicated credit card. It was mentioned September 9 after revenue tanked 50% post-COVID and the stock fell 90%. There was massive insider buying, cost-cutting, even while the company was signing more and more clients. 2 weeks ago, the company reported blowout earnings. The stock zoomed 45% since it was mentioned here. 45%. Sixth was NXTC, a biotech company selling below cash value, really equivalent to negative price. It was mentioned in August and it's up 15% since. Number 8. 3 cruise line stocks were mentioned on October 8, CCL, RCL, and NCLH. They all languished because of Corona, because people are not traveling. They are up 20% since on the average, since the vaccine announcement proved that business is not dead and people may travel again one day. You imagine that. Ninth, on October 17, I gave an example of the US elections as bet-worthy and pointed that Trump was quoted at 1.3, which means $1 can make you 3. I said there's a good likelihood Trump will win, as per Professor Norpeth model. The only time the model was wrong since 1912 was in 1960, when the Chicago mob stole Nixon's vote and made JFK president. Did the mob strike again? Who knows? Meantime, Biden has more electors, although less than the required 270, and none is certified yet, due to recounts and lawsuits. Yes, for now the bet looks wrong, but let's wait a month to December 14 when Congress must certify the electors. If the Supreme Court doesn't resolve the issue before, it can be decided by state vote in Congress. Meantime, it's a cliffhanger in the soap opera, but in a month we'll know. 10th and last is Fossil. FOSL is a symbol, which I mentioned on October 29. The company is changing its business model from stores to online, kind of like from Blockbuster to Netflix. It's a crossover turnaround, I said, with big potential payoff. Maybe. Yet analysts don't seem to care. Only one still follows Fossil, and Value Line dropped coverage altogether. And this even as insiders were buying and buying and buying shares since middle of last year. Were the insiders wrong? Apparently not. Just last night, Fossil reported blowout earnings at huge sales jump as their new online business boomed with lower costs. The company also showed a profit versus an expected loss. The stock popped 25% overnight. How high will it go? You got it. You must sleuth it out yourself and make up your own mind. How? To help, reread my book, The Sleuth Investors, for basics method that helped me catch the above mentions. So, all in all, of the 10 mentions of the last 6 months, 7 were up, 2 of them a lot, 2 were flat or slightly down, and I may be 0 or a triple on the election, but we'll know only in a month. So what conclusions should you draw from this very limited and short time follow-up? First, do your own homework. Go out and talk to customers, suppliers of the company people, competitors. Get the full spectrum of the human drama, which is commerce, with real people fighting for money and glory. Don't stay behind your internet screen, just read about it. Or because if you do that, I and other sleuths like me will take your money. Second, don't listen to others' opinion, including mine. Do your own sleuthing and develop your own opinion, then stick to your convictions. If your convictions weaken as the stock dipped 5%, you haven't sleuthed the stock deeply enough. Third, without sleuthing, you'll never have multi-bagger stock, the kind that go up 5 or 10 times of your purchase price. Assume you had bought a stock at 6 and it is a multi-bagger that will return to its previous high of 120 or maybe go even higher. The question is, how long will you hold it before you are tempted to sell? $20? $30? And for what reason will you sell it? You got it. When the reason you had bought it for no longer exists, only then you sell. And how would you know the real reason, the true reason? You got it yet again, by sleuthing it on the physical level constantly, even after you have bought it, especially then, because if you don't, you'll never have multi-baggers since you won't know when to sell, even more critically, when not to sell. That's all for today. Let me know in the comment below what you think of the above. Subscribe to the channel. Tell all your friends about it so they're subscribed too. I'll see you next time. And meantime, thank you very much for watching.